There's not much better than a Monday Night Football doubleheader. The feature game, I think, is Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins hosting Justin Fields and the New York Jets. That's right, as of recording this video on Thursday, Justin is full a go in practice, which means he will be playing football on Monday night. They need him back because of his ability to get outside the pocket, extend plays, and be a superhero. Now, he looked a lot less like a superhero in week one and a lot more like your typical NFL quarterback that is slinging the ball around with confidence, finding his guy, Garrett Wilson. That's where I start, because my biggest critique for the New York Jets isn't on the defensive side of the football. It is the one-dimensional nature of their reliance on Garrett Wilson. There's nothing from the second-round guy and Mason Taylor. Honestly, the tackles have played pretty well. Membu, Fashanu, they'll develop into, I think, the long-term answer at tackle for them. But there's no second guy. The second best receiver on this team right now is Breece Hall out of the backfield. That's unacceptable. For Miami, they've got those talents, right? Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. They have the ability to stretch the field. They don't have a tight end. It's like neither of these teams even know what a tight end is, how to utilize that. There's no threat over the deep middle of the field, the intermediate passing game. You don't think that impacts the way that defenses want to play you. These are two teams that have not been good on offense, which says a bit more so for Mike McDaniel and his offense, because they are 23rd in the league in yards, 25th in points. These are numbers that would have shocked you after watching them during 2022. This team was putting up all kinds of points. They look like the hottest thing. This is maybe the most fun team to watch in football. And now it's like, get it off of my TV screen. Gotta give them credit for the way that they played. And not just played, they battled against the Buffalo Bills, came down with a tough interception that Tagovailoa through, which has been a little bit of the theme the recent years. Now, I went back and watched one of his games in college. It was against LSU. Remember the confidence that Tua Tagovailoa played with. It's such a similar narrative, so many of these quarterbacks, and a lot goes for Justin Fields. I watched every single one of his college games, and they had a lot of confidence. They were throwing in time. They obviously had pretty good weapons. I would say that his weapons in college were better than what Justin Fields has right now in the NFL. He's still got the same wideout, Garrett Wilson, but the same exact thing goes for Tua Tagovailoa. He was throwing also to Jalen Waddle in college, but it's the guys around them, right? Tua does not play the game fast anymore. When a guy is coming open, it's that little slight hesitation in his mind that you didn't see in college. All the talk with him was the quick release. The arm strength is good enough for it to translate to the NFL. And we haven't seen the same Tua. The head injuries have obviously had a large impact on him, but we're not seeing a guy play with a ton of confidence so far this season. 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. There is not the step that we wanted to see from the Miami Dolphins. A lot of that has to do with the defense, and they just need to score more points. Prolonged drives, that's the key stat I look at with Miami. It's not offensive points or defense. It's time of possession. They're just not on the field long enough. 25 minutes. It's like if you only looked at their run numbers, you would say, oh, Devon Achane, like that's pretty good so far in the season. He's been running the football decently well, 5 yards. They're not committing to the run game. Mike McDaniel, you probably aren't watching, but if you did, there's a commitment that is necessary to the run game that does not exist with this Miami Dolphin offense. They can run it decently well enough, but they're not committing to it. 10-minute differential in time of possession is a massive category. That is the paper popper stat that just makes you say, whoa, like this team is just not on the field long enough to sustain drives and make the other defense have to be out there and get tired. For the New York Jets, they've got another unfortunate one, which is 27% on third down. Now, if you compare that to Miami, Miami is 54% on third down. They're twice as good, but their time of possession is so abysmal right now that they're just not keeping their offense on the field to then help out their defense. What does that mean? It's complementary football. The Miami Dolphins are not playing complementary football. Now, enough of the their critique on Miami, let's go back to the New York Jets, because this is a team that in week one, the way they played against Pittsburgh had every fan excited. He goes down against Buffalo pretty early in that game, and immediately it's changed the scope. I can imagine Jets fans. I've got a great friend that is a big enthusiast for the Jets, had so much confidence and hope going into the season, Justin being the guy. And week one, seeing him go out there and do that, and to see that just turn from hope into misery in a matter of, 14, 15 days, is something that a lot of fans can sympathize with, but no one's going to be feeling sorry for you, especially not Miami fans that are going through the same thing, especially when these are rivals. This still is a rivalry game. We're talking AFC East, the amount of history that these two teams have. Dan Marino, Joe Namath. We think about the Dolphins and the Jets, two of the more storied franchises in the history of the NFL, and kind of where the organization is at. I don't like to fraternize with the negativity crowd that really talks about dumpster fire and horrible organizations. These are two great organizations that as of late have gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole of negativity. New York Jets haven't had a playoff win since 2010. I still vividly remember it. Mark Sanchez going into New England, beating the Patriots, unbelievable. That team going to the AFC Championship game back-to-back years. This team doesn't have the swagger that they did back then, and it all starts with your head coach. I like the Jets head coach, Mike Glenn. He's got a little bit of that tough, hard ass in him, which we don't exactly see from Mike McDaniel all the time. McDaniel, obviously, a very much X's and O's guy, a culture guy, bringing him in there. What's unfortunate is that the culture has looked a little bit sick for the Miami Dolphins. Now, as far as this game, continuing to try and build out a prediction, I think that the Jets will look a lot like they did in week one, and Pittsburgh struggling to exactly catch up to. They were there, but they didn't quite catch up to Justin Fields when he was on at times. Some anticipatory throws, ripping that thing over the middle. The timing was excellent. Used his legs really effectively. It was a masterclass. It was the same bit of Justin Fields that we watched in 2023, the bright spots when that team won a couple of football games. That was one of the more exciting players in football. Tua Tagovailoa, haven't seen that version at all this season. There's been a couple of good drives. They got the football against Buffalo, took the ball right down the field, but haven't been able to string it together consistently enough. Luckily for the Miami Dolphins, they were going up against the worst statistical defense as far as points go. 32nd in the league. Points allowed are the New York Jets so far on this season. Miami, late September, it's going to be relatively hot. It's going to be humid. Advantage to Miami in that category. But where the Jets impress me still is in the young area of the trench play. And then on defense, they have a guy that can cover anyone at a high level. Sauce Gardner, probably the best cornerback in the National Football League. He has the great responsibility of shadowing probably Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle at times throughout the entire day. I think that the Jets win this game. I have confidence that Justin goes out there and has a good day. 24-21, the Jets get a win in a tight manner. They're able to run the football, commit to that a little bit better than Miami does. I can kind of see them struggling to run the ball on that those New York Jet trenches. It's an area that still needs to improve. Look, teams, when they are playing at a high level, it starts up front. New York's been up and down. Neither of these teams have given up all that many sacks. Neither of them have gotten after the quarterback that much. They're very much in the middle, lower to mid tier of the National Football League. That's not the biggest thing. It's just a matter of good teams win close games. Bad teams lose close games. Both of these squads have been in tight games, and both have been on the losing end of it. That speaks to culture and what you're trying to build if you're Aaron Glenn, and the culture that has dissipated and gone away from what it was a few years ago for Mike McDaniel. So let me know down below in the comments who you think wins this game. Am I wrong? Miami finds a way to get the win, or are you on the side of New York that the Jets are able to pull it out on the road? Want to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching Blitz with Blender. I make NFL and college videos every day, breaking this stuff down. It's so so exciting for me to be able to look at these games, watch them, and then find a way to find an analytical perspective and go into them with somewhat of a narrative, which in this one is kind of two lower quality football teams. Someone's going to be happy and get a win probably, unless it's a tie. That is also a possibility if you've got two bad teams going head to head. But on the positive side, think that we will see some better football, both sides of it for both of these squads, and it should be a good one. So I appreciate you so much for watching. If you have not already, make sure to subscribe for more videos with Blitz with Blender in the future, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Best player in college football.
That Georgia and Ohio State game, New Year's Eve, is going to be a classic.
Josh Blender. Hi, everybody. I'm Josh Blender.
To the 40, 35, 30, Espinosa to the 20.